Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy the Game Master and welcome to my channel. Well, I've been looking around and listening to a few videos talking about some of the aftermath of the Justice League movie today. I've seen the movie, I think it's an okay movie. It's not bad, but at the same time, it's not great. And just looking at some of the DC universe's critical reviews plus the amount of money they brought in, and it's not doing well. Let's just put it this way. They're breaking even on most of these movies. In Justice League, it was meant to be the Avengers for the DC Universe. And you compare the quality of Justice League, and you compare the quality and just the energy that went into the Avengers, night and day difference, guys. The Avengers will be a movie that I'll always keep with me, okay, in some form or another. I own a digital version of the movie, but I always see myself going back and watching that movie occasionally because it's a great movie. It's not very deep, it's no Dark Knight by any means, but it's a really great, fun, romp action movie that knows what it is and knows how to have fun with itself. The Justice League does some things right, but for the most part, it's forgettable. And I can tell you why, and that's why I want to do this rant. Warner Brothers, you screwed this up, and you screwed this up big time just from the start, and here's why. You saw Marvel having all this money from their crossovers and from their extended universe that you didn't go back and see how they did this extended universe and why it freaking works. Alright. Marvel did it this way. You go back and you watch those very first Marvel movies. Either started with the second Hulk movie, which I think they threw out of the canon just due to the fact that Marvel doesn't get around with Paramount and they own some of the Hulk license, blah, 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 blah. But it definitely started with the Iron Man movies. And you look at those two movies, they focus only on Iron Man for the most part. You have Samuel L. Jackson in for some of the stingers and for a few brief moments in Iron Man 2, and you have Phil Coulson. Then you look at Thor and you look at Captain America. They both have Samuel L. Jackson in them during small parts, and then Phil Coulson during some moments. But they focus on Thor and his journey and his fish out of water story in the original Thor movie. And they focus on Captain America and his kind of efforts in this flashback period piece in World War II. They focused on them, and then once they built these characters and established a few small side characters, they went ahead and they did the Avengers. They were established. They had the same tone. They had the actors available. They were ready for this. DC, on the other hand, was trying to do a Superman trilogy, I guess, with the Man of Steel being the first one and trying to set it up like the Dark Knight. Nothing wrong with that, but when they saw the fan demand for crossovers, they rushed ahead without thinking about it. World building and character building first. When I saw Batman v Superman, I'm like, okay, Ben Affleck was actually a good Batman for what they were trying to do him with. But who the frick is this Batman? Because he's so different. He's an older version of Batman. He's been doing it for 20 years. You look at the Batcave. There's stories to be told here. Why the hell haven't we tapped into one or two of them first before doing a freaking crossover? Another problem was, since this was supposed to be a darker, grittier Superman trilogy based off the Dark Knight and its tone, you got a Batman and a Superman that are very much the same character, and that's a problem, because the reason why these two characters are both best friends but at the same time fight each other is they have very different world views. They both at the same time dislike each other because one thinks the other one's too powerful and too good and might impose his beliefs through force. And the other one thinks he's too dark, too brooding, and might impose his beliefs through force. Therefore, they keep each other in the realm of sanity at same time clashing, and it makes very interesting drama when done right. But when they're both the same freaking brooding character, it doesn't work. And, on top of that, not understanding Batman 2. So that movie ended up failing, as well as not planning out a proper Lex Luthor, because, oh my god, the guy you have playing Lex Luthor is a freaking clown. He's not threatening. Get Clancy Brown to see if he can go in and do a live action Lex Luthor. Yes, he's a fairly old guy now, but he's still more threatening than the Lex Luthor you have now. And don't forget, for those who don't think Clancy Brown, who plays the voice of Mr. Krabs, is threatening, he played the Kurgan back in Highlander, and there isn't a villain that will make you crap your pants more than the freaking Kurgan. So, yeah, if you can tap into that as an older Lex Luthor, he could still be a scary villain, and Lex isn't meant to be I'm not necessarily going to beat the crap out of you, but at the same time, you don't want to cross me. That's the type of villain Lex Luthor is. Don't cross me, but I can't exactly beat you in a fist fight, but that's not what I'm going for. The guy you got is a clown. So they didn't set that up properly. And then when I saw the second movie, I'm like, what? What the hell is Suicide Squad? Let me Google that, because I'm not a big comic book nerd. I do like to watch the cartoon shows, I do like to watch the movies, but I don't read the actual comics themselves. Oh boy, it's a crossover of a bunch of DC Universe villains, which we haven't even been introduced properly to the heroes who fight them. Yeah, so again, we don't know this version of Harley Quinn, we don't know this version of Deadshot, we don't know this version of Joker, and you're doing a freaking crossover! Tell me how that's a good idea! Yeah, critically failed. Despite, having some good moments, having some good ideas, it failed because, again, these characters aren't known and the world isn't built. Wonder Woman came along and it broke records because it did it right. We're introduced for this character really for the first time. Yes, she did have a few cameos in Batman v Superman, but this is the first time we actually see her at center stage, part of the action, introducing her. It's another period piece. Yes, some critics have compared it to Captain America, the First Avengers, but I don't care. It's still a good movie in my opinion. Still a lot of fun. Actually has some bright colors for a change, but still has a bit of a different tone than the Marvel Universe. That's why it works so well. And Warner Brothers should have been focused on making 3 or 4 of these before a Batman v Superman, or a Suicide Squad, or a Justice League. So I think that's why it failed. If you ask me, the 3 things that made this failed was improper world building, characters that sucked, and then just a lousy choice of movies. Rushing to do these crossovers before these characters have been established. If you're going to do a long running 20 movie universe series, then you're going to have to establish the characters. That should be your motto number 1. And so many extended universes forget that. Start with establishing your characters, worry about building on them. You can leave a piece out or two saying we're teasing you with something bigger in the next movie, stick around. But worry about making a good movie. Worry about making a good Superman movie. Worry about making a good Batman movie. Worry about making a good Aquaman movie. Worry about making a good Flash movie. You might leave Cyborg as someone that's teased and have a movie after the Justice League. But worry about them. So, do I think we're going to see a Justice League 2? It just depends on what some of these next DC Universe movies do. If they can make them go okay, maybe. But I think for a lot of people, the ship has sailed on the DC Universe. There's a lot of people I know who are comic book movie fans. Didn't go see Justice League because they've been burned on all the other DC Universe movies and know not to waste their money. I had a little extra change and just wanted to go see it out of curiosity and to talk about it. And yeah, I don't blame them. It's a red box rental movie. It's not a go see in theater movie. So my advice to Warner Brothers, if you want to save this find a way to do a reboot, whether it be a hard or soft reboot. Start with focusing on the characters. Do a Superman movie that involves Superman and make him Superman. There's nothing wrong with doing a dark and gritty trilogy of Superman when he's by himself, but if you're going to cross him over, he's got to be freaking Superman. Do a Batman movie. Establish this world's Batman. Establish this world's Gotham City. Do it right. Care about your casting choices. Again, part of the problem with the Man of Steel was it was supposed to be this different trilogy. Got a lot of casting problems wrong with the way Lois Lane is. The fact that she knows he's Superman before he even knows he's Superman. Crap like that really just destroyed this universe and the way people perceived these characters before it even got out of the gate. But focus on the world and then watch what crossovers you do. Make sure they work before you release them. Anyways, this is Tommy the Game Master. It's going to be interesting to see what Warner Brothers does with this cluster screw-up they have. But it's a big cluster screw-up. In the meantime, I can't wait for the next Avengers movie. What about you guys? I'll see you guys later.